Okay, third grade, we are still on lesson 76 packet. This is some more extra practice. This is page 11. So let's go ahead and get started. So our first step for solving mystery number problems is we're going to solve the known. Let me make sure I have, okay, we're going to solve the known. Solve the known. And if you can look on one side of our equation, right, and that is w plus 15. And we don't know what w is. W is our mystery number, so that's probably not it. Right, but we can tell ourselves, we can figure out what 5 times 7 is. And 5 times 7 is going to be 35. 35. So w plus 15 is going to be 35. Alright, our second step is to do the opposite process. Alright, and this is plus 15. So the opposite of plus 15 is going to be minus 15. And we have to do it on both sides, otherwise it becomes a different problem. Okay. Oh, I did it again. Psh, what on earth? Mrs. Akins is losing her mind. Okay. Number 3. So we are going to solve. We're going to solve this guy. Alright, so 5 minus 5 is going to be 0. 3 minus 1 is going to be 2. Okay, and then so this is just going to be w is equal to 20. But we're not quite done yet, because 3 goes to 4, which is our check step. How we do that is we put a giant parentheses with big open space for our mystery number value, right? And then we add. Well, for this problem we add. For other problems you might not. You just write the problem the rest of the way, however it is that it says to write it. So, got to plug in our mystery number. Our mystery number is 20. So, then we got to actually resolve it, right? 20 plus 15. Remember what we can do, third grade, is we can put this below. We can add it like that. If you're struggling with doing it in your head, that's okay. 5 plus 0 is going to be 5. 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. Right? And then 5 times 7 is going to still be 35. Now, 35 equals 35. And so we know we did it right. That is a check. That looks like a weird V. Alright. Let's keep going. This one I'm not going to write out the steps quite so thoroughly. I think we have the idea. Okay, so the first step, though, is that we're going to solve what we know. And what we know from this side, right, we have number, letter, number, number. Some of y'all, I showed number, letter, number, number. Y'all like that. We want to just do just numbers, right? 4 times 11 is going to be 44, and you should know that from your multiplication facts. Alright, and then we write the rest of the problem. Now, when you write a T in math, make sure that it's got a tail if you're not doing like a cursive T. Okay, it's very important because it will look like a plus sign. Okay, 4 plus T equals 44. Our next step is going to be to do what? Well, gosh. Well, wait a minute. Wait, the variable's over here? The mystery number's over here? Well, gosh, well, what do we do? Do we subtract that? No, we don't. We actually don't. If there is a number, right, if this mystery number is on this side over here like that, okay, what you're going to do is you are going to actually just subtract. And as long as there's not a minus right there, as long as there's not a negative sign right there, you're always going to just subtract. Okay. And we can do this, and we're going to get the same answer as we would if it was the other way around. And I'm going to show you a different way to do this problem in a minute. Okay, so we subtract 4. We've got to do it on both sides, otherwise it changes the way that the problem is. Right? 4 minus 4 is going to be 0. Oh, wait a minute. See, I've jumped into the solve step yet again. Our next step after we do the opposite process is we're going to solve. 4 minus 4 is going to be 0. And then this 4 is brought down. Alright, 4 minus this 4 is 0. We don't need to write it anymore. So we just get t equals 40. Okay, that's great. That's awesome. So now what we are going to do is we are going to check this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do this problem a different way so I can prove to you that we can just do it like this, right? Okay, so we have 4 plus some mystery number t that we think is 40. We're going to say it equals to 4 times 11. Now, we're going to plug in 40. Four plus 40 is going to be 44. And 4 times 11 is also going to be 44. 44 equals 44, so we did something right. Now, it may have been a little bit weird the way that this was, where the variable was on a different side than it usually is. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that for a second. Realize that this is the exact same thing. 4 plus t is the same as saying t plus 4. Okay, and I'm just going to solve t plus 4 equals 4 times 11, just so that we know, just so that we're comfortable. Okay, just in case. So our first step is to solve what we know. And we know 4 times 11 is, of course, 44. So we have t plus 4 equals 44. Our next step is we are going to do the opposite process, which this is addition. And see, this is a little bit more where our comfort zone is, because we have this very obvious plus here. Alright, when you're solving up here, when you're solving, or when you're doing the opposite process, you're not, if the variable's on this side, you're not paying attention to this. If the mystery number's on this side, on this right side, the left side of the equation side, but the right side of this, you're not paying attention to this guy. You're just paying attention to what somebody may call the polarity, whether it's positive or negative, of this guy. Right. At least that's what I had teachers call it. Anyway, don't worry about that word. That's not super important. But just notice that this is just a number just hanging out. We can assume it is itself. It is a number that isn't negative. Negative numbers aren't going to be for some time, but they are real. They exist. Okay. So now we do the opposite process. Okay. This is it. This is as if it was in that other way that we wrote it before. We're going to subtract 4 from both sides. Same as we did up here. And then we're going to do our solve step. 44 minus 4 is going to be 40. This plus 4 minus 4 is going to be 0, so it's just going to be t equals 40. Okay. Now we can check it yet again. And you can't see this, I just realized. So let's scoot this down a little bit. Okay. Let's do this. So we're using this guy here. We're using this guy here, not the one above. Some mystery number plus 4 is equal to 4 times 11. Now we're going to plug in this guy, this 40, to where t is. Okay. And then we're going to ask ourselves, what's 40 plus 4? That is 44. And what's 4 times 11? That's also going to be 44. 44 equals 44. So I think we did something right. There we go. Okay, now let's take a look at number 16. This is a little bit different too. So we might just write out the steps, just how we did before. We're gonna do this. Where's my black pen? Right here. We need all the space we can get. So our first step is going to be solving the known. And the weird thing about this guy, let's go ahead and write this out. The weird thing about this guy is that the known is going to be a division problem, but everything else is the same, so it's going to be okay. Alright, 30 divided by 3 is going to be 10. We're just going to write the rest of our problem. Our next step is to do the opposite process. Now I know what you're thinking again. Wait a minute, it's on that other side, right? So that's okay. All we gotta do, if it's just hanging out like this, you can just subtract it. It's assumed to just be basically like plus. Alright. Step 2. If my camera will ever focus ever again. Step 2, or that was step 2. Step 3 is going to be to solve. Alright, 10 minus 5 is going to be 5. Alright, when we take away this 5 from over here, you just end up with w. You do not need to write plus w. You just get w equals 5. I keep forgetting to box my answers. There we go. Then, what we need to do, our last step, is to not use the purple, but to use the blue. And we are going to check. Okay, so we have 5 plus mystery number w, which is 5, or we think it's 5, equals 30 divided by 3. Alright. Now let's go ahead and plug in our number 5 here. 5 plus 5 is going to equal 10. 30 divided by 3 is also going to equal 10. 10 equals 10. I agree with that. So I think we're good. Alright, now let's let this sit for a second so you can see it. And pause it if you need to. Alright, let's take a look at number 17. So, our first step is to solve the known. And our known over here is 55 divided by 5. We know, because these are all numbers and no mystery numbers, so we can just jump into that. 55 divided by 5 is going to be 11. We're going to rewrite this. h plus 2 equals 11. I can make that more obviously a plus. There you go. Our next step is to do the opposite process. Okay, and our opposite process is going to be minus 2 on both sides, subtracting 2 on both sides of our equation. Our third step is going to be to solve. 11 minus 2 is going to be 9. And then we just have that h. H equals 9. Alright, and finally, last but not least, we are going to check again. We have some mystery number plus 2 equals 55 divided by 5. I'm going to plug in our mystery number. Our mystery number seems to be 9. We're going to jump into it. 9 plus 2 is going to be 11. 55 divided by 5 is still 11. 11 equals 11. So we must have done something right. There you have it. That was page 11.